Christmas morning was supposed to be spectacle, a marquee national game, millions watching, a chance for the Mavericks to flip a narrative and for a team to rally around its new cornerstone. Instead, it ended with a veteran star limping off the court, clutching his groin, and an everywhere asked question echoing through the locker room. How much longer can this roster lean on a player who keeps getting hurt? The stakes are obvious and immediate. This was a high-profile, nationally televised game on Christmas, the kind of night where momentum is made and narratives stick. For Dallas, the game carried more weight than a single loss. They've invested major salary and roster planning around Anthony Davis. And when he goes down in the second quarter and doesn't return, it exposes not just short-term lineup holes, but long-term roster risk. On a team already searching for identity, an injury like this reframes everything from rotations to trade thinking. What unfolded on the court looked routine at first. Davis ran, defended, and even produced a few plays. 3 points, 3 rebounds, 2 blocks, a steal, before the moment that changed the night. With 8:50 left in the second quarter, he pulled up, favored his right side, and jogged gingerly to the bench. The Mavericks immediately ruled him out at halftime with right groin spasms, and he did not return. That play shifted the tenor of the game. Golden State extended a late second quarter lead, and the Warriors closed the half up 71-58, a margin they never fully relinquished en route to a 126-116 win. Reuters. That early exit is the sort of moment that forces a team to answer uncomfortable operational questions in real time. Who replaces the physical, versatile big man minutes? Do matchups tilt dramatically when your rim deterrent is off the floor? How will the coaching staff manage minutes and rotations while trying to avoid a spiral of mismatches and defensive breakdowns? On Christmas night, those questions played out in real time. Golden State attacked the rim more aggressively. Dallas's defensive coverage is bent in the quarter after Davis left, and the Mavericks' offense, already working to integrate new pieces, lost not only a scorer, but a presence that affects how opponents defend the entire floor. AP News. But let's hold back on the loudest, most damning headlines for a moment. There's a number that, once revealed, changes the emotional weight completely. Anthony Davis's injury history this season and across his career is not a small footnote. Earlier in this campaign, he missed a long stretch, a 14-game absence with a calf strain. And overall, he's already missed significant chunks of this year. Reports note he's appeared in only 16 of the Mavericks' first 32 games and has missed 16 of 31 contests so far. This isn't a one-off. Davis has dealt with long layoffs in the past, and this season's pattern is now painfully familiar to the organization and fans alike. That history matters because it reframes tonight's groin spasm from bad luck to a recurring risk that the Mavericks can't ignore. BleacherReport.com. Here's the turning point that turns the clinical box score note into a fuller story. The Mavericks constructed their offseason decisions and mid-season moves around the expectation that Davis would be available and impactful. When that expectation breaks down, the ripple effects are immediate. Dallas dropped to 12-20 with the loss, a standing that matters for how the front office evaluates short-term fixes versus long-term course corrections. Losing Davis in a game where they needed defensive toughness and interior deterrence exposed how thin their contingency plan can be. If the organization now faces another stretch of games without their veteran big, they'll have to decide whether to absorb temporary pain, pursue reinforcements ahead of the trade deadline, or rethink the roster vision entirely. Mavs Moneyball. There are 3 layers to parse here: the medical, the strategic, and the psychological. Medically, right groin spasms can range from short-term soreness to an adductor strain that needs longer rest and targeted rehab. The team immediately called this cautious, ruling Davis out for the game, and provided no definitive timeline beyond that. Coach and staff gave guarded responses after the loss. There was no immediate update on how long he could be sidelined. That ambiguity is a problem in itself because planning rotations, rest for other players, and potential trade conversations all require a clearer medical window. Reuters strategically, think about matchups. Davis's value isn't only measured in points and rebounds. It's breathability for opposing defenses and spacing leverage for his own team. When he's available, opponents have to respect his rim protection and rim finishing ability, which opens driving lanes and mid-range options for teammates. When he's out, defenses become emboldened to attack the paint and force other, less experienced scorers to carry load they may not be ready for. On Christmas, Dallas felt that exact pressure. The Warriors pushed inside, got to the line, and made adjustments that the Mavericks struggled to match without Davis's gravity. Psychologically, repeated injuries create a fog. Players start to play differently, hesitantly more conservative in transition because the safety net of a veteran rim protector isn't there. Conversely, over-aggressively, trying to compensate for the absence. For a roster still figuring out roles, that shaky mental terrain can turn into a stretch of stagnant offense and porous defense. The Mavericks' young wings and rotation players were asked to make plays in high-leverage situations on national television. Some answered, others didn't. That inconsistency is exactly what the Warriors exploited late. There's also a larger narrative at stake: durability and value. When a team acquires a big-name veteran who carries a long injury history, you accept the upside and the risk. But repeated absences change the calculus at the trade deadline and affect how the front office prepares for the next 18 months. If Davis misses meaningful time again, the Mavericks face two unpalatable paths: tolerate ongoing instability while hoping for flashes of elite performance, or pursue roster trades that rectify reliability at the cost of continuity. Either choice will be scrutinized because the roster's future hinges on how dependable its primary pieces are. Analysts and fans alike will push for clarity. Will the team double down on building around a high-ceiling but injury-prone veteran, or will they pivot to a more available core? BleacherReport.com. So what's next, in practical terms? First, expect Dallas to treat this with caution. Teams typically rest groins workloads and pursue specialized rehab rather than rush a return, especially late in December when the schedule is dense. Second, keep an eye on the injury reports and official updates over the next 48 to 72 hours. Those will indicate whether this is a short-term maintenance hold or the start of another extended absence. Third, on the basketball side, the coaching staff must immediately map sub-rotation minutes: who plays more pick-and-roll defense, who handles close games, and who is trusted to match up with bigger lineups. And finally, there's the narrative consequence. A Christmas Day injury draws attention: national cameras, national pundits, and national questions. The Mavericks need to control that narrative through transparent medical updates and calm, competent adjustments on the court. If they don't, speculation will fill the gap. Talk about trades, talk about cap logistics, and talk about whether this season's trajectory needs a major course correction. Tonight's loss and Davis's exit is a flashpoint. It won't, on its own, decide the Mavericks' season. But in a league where margins are thin and timing matters, it could mark the moment the organization either doubles down and finds a way to make this work, or admits that the risk-reward balance has shifted. For now, the official line is cautious. He was ruled out for the game, and the team hasn't provided a timeline for return. The real story will be in how the Mavericks respond over the coming days, medically, tactically, and in the front office. If you want, I can now turn this into a retention-optimized YouTube script with open loops, delayed reveals, and dramatic beats tailored for an 8 to 10-minute voiceover. Or I can extract punchy social captions and a pinned tweet-style summary from this copy. Which would you like next?